our Plymouth Zoning Hearing Board meeting for Plymouth Township, June 19, 2023. All rise to the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so we have 4 things to do tonight. I'll hand it over to Mr. Solicitor to bring up the first topic.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First item on the agenda this evening is the application of Harold and Kristen Kresge. This is for a variance from Section 702.B of the zoning ordinance to allow a 20-foot front yard where a 30-foot front yard is required. This property is located at 214 Hillside Avenue in the C residential zoning district. So why don't you guys come forward, and we'll have our court reporter, Paul, swear you in before we start testimony. So raise your right hands. And
Kristen, K-R-I-S-T-E-N. Kresge, K-R-E-S-G-E.
Harold Kresge. Yes.
Okay. Why don't you, one or both, tell the zoning hearing board what it is you want to do and why you feel you're entitled to the relief you're requesting.
Sure, so I think you all have copies of the plans. So what we're looking to do is, we currently have a smaller house, about 100 years old, over on it's a single lot, but what would have been a double lot. It's an older house. It's not really feasible anymore. So we're looking to knock that down and replace it with a newer house. I don't have the dimensions memorized, but I know with the garage sticking out, we're looking at about 20 feet. So the house itself would be about 26 feet back, I believe, and then that little portion is the garage. So the garage would be about 20 foot from back. And that would give us a little more than 30 feet in the backyard, and we're well within the range on the side yards.
So you don't need relief from the rear yard setback. That complies. And right now, do you know how far the front of your house is located from?
I was just looking that up. It
Should
doesn't,
be,
it's roughly 8 feet.
yeah.
So you're roughly 8 feet, and you're actually increasing your front yard setback to 20 feet.
That's correct.
Okay. So the house being that old, it's probably a non-conforming
Right.
dimension in the front yard that you're not fully compliant, but you're making it better. You're reducing the non-conformity.
That's correct.
Okay. Okay.
Would you like to add anything else? We're going to take questions from the
Do you
board.
need anything else?
Well, we're going
Any
to
more
take,
information?
before we ask you questions, we're going to make sure you've presented everything you want to say.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much
Okay.
it.
Exactly what we wanted.
Marty, any questions?
No, I just wanted, in the form here, it says the front setback is 6.7 right now.
Currently.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I drove by, and
It's real close.
It's an older house. It's been there for a while.
yeah. No, I don't have any questions.
Mr. Daly?
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chairman. So basically what you're doing is looking to move the house back further from the street and center it more on the lot. You have a very sizable lot over on the left-hand
That's it.
side.
Originally, it was a double lot. My grandfather built the home, expecting to build another home for the kids.
Oh, okay.
And none of the kids wanted it. So now it's a big side yard, and now with the rule changes,
Okay,
it's
yeah.
not, doesn't qualify anymore.
Yeah.
You can't build on it.
Yeah, okay. And are your neighbors okay with this proposed plan?
To the best of my knowledge, I'm not extremely
No,
close.
I'm next door.
Oh, hi.
Oh, okay. We'll get to you.
That's fine. I don't have any, I was just hearing what was going
Okay.
on.
We'll get to you. Hold that thought.
I don't have any further questions. Thank you.
Mr. Prill?
So aside from the front yard, which is an existing variance, grandfathered variance, are there any other issues, variances, or dimensional issues?
Everything should be
We fit within all
within
the criteria that we can
the
find.
ranges,
Okay.
the impervious ground. We should be good.
Thank you.
Is that it?
Yeah.
And stole my question. I don't have any questions.
I have no questions.
right, so with that in mind, anybody want to speak in favor of this plan?
I don't have any problem with it at all.
Wait, hold on, you have to stand, you have to, come on forward, sorry.
Okay.
And you have to,
That's okay.
you have to identify yourself for our court reporter. What's your name?
Carol, Piantone,
Carol?
Piantone.
Thank you.
And I live on the right side of the house where the lot is. It's all just a huge lot. I just wanted to find out whether they were putting the house the same place or whether they were centering it into the lot. You know, I saw that it was going to be 20 feet from the road, which is fine. I have an old house
Do you want
too.
to take a look at the plans?
Yeah, am I allowed to?
That's the proposed house.
Yeah, this is my house.
Right up on the street.
Right, I know. My mother, I actually grew up behind that house, so I've been there my whole life.
Seen it all.
Your lot
It's here.
is, when you're looking at this plan, it's to the left of the...
Yes,
So this is existing up on the street. This is the proposed in the middle of the lot.
okay.
What's your address?
1519 Coleman Street. I'm on the corner.
Okay.
Coleman
Any
and Hillside.
concerns or anything?
No, no. Is it a two-story house, one-story? Two-story? It looked like, I mean, from the thing, it wasn't huge.
It's going from-
1,400
The
square
existing
feet.
is 720 square feet, and they're going to double that, 1,455 square feet.
It's a big
And
lot.
move it back off the road and put it in the center.
I don't see any problem with that. I just wanted to know what was going on.
So, it may be a 1,400 square foot footprint, 2,800 with top and bottom.
Oh, so that's the footprint, it's 1455.
Is that an average size house?
36 times 44, what's that?
Yeah, I think I may have had that wrong. I think it is a 1,400 square foot footprint and then another 1,400 second floor.
So when you calculate the living space, it's 2,800 square feet.
A little bit less than that with the garage,
Yeah.
because there's a two-car garage on it.
Okay.
Yep, so it's, yeah.
So the first floor is
Sorry about that.
1,400, and then the second floor would be 1,400.
Doing the
And
plan.
minus the garage, so it would be comparable to that, but a little bit less. I can't think of the dimensions of the garage.
As long as they're within,
Yeah.
they're fine.
Carol, where's the garage on my
It's
side?
the existing house of
You're the
Rancher?
wrong one. That's
Kinda,
the
yeah.
house.
It's like-
All right, hold on. We can't all talk at once. You can't all talk at once. It's got to be, Ms. Piantone, you need to address the board. If you have additional questions, speak to here, and then we'll ask the applicant.
I was just wondering if the garage was on my side, towards my side of the house,
No, it's on the opposite side
where the existing house is now.
of that side, correct? Probably lined up with the existing driveway. Be familiar with the property.
Oh, sure.
That's where the garage will be lined up.
Okay, so how many feet are there between my fence and the side yard of the house?
It's over 30.
It's roughly 30, but I don't know the exact number.
doesn't have it here.
Well, it's,
It's not written on here either.
oh, no, that's not.
Proposed 47 and 33, so it's at least 33, it could be 47.
Where the tree
15
there?
to
It's
30.
going to have to come down. It's going to be basically where the, just a couple feet from the edge of the
Looks
house.
like 40 feet.
Okay. Like I said, I don't have any problem with it, I just wanted to know what was going in there.
Thank you very much. All right, we're going to take a vote.
Is there any other public comment on this? No? Okay.
Ready for a vote. Would somebody like to make a motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman, to grant a variance from Plymouth Township zoning ordinance number 342 as amended, Article 7, Section 702, point capital B, to allow demolition of an existing a single-family home and replace it with a new construction single-family home with front setback of 20 feet where 30 feet is required. Property is located at 214 Hillside Avenue in the C Residential Zoning District.
We have a second.
Second.
Marty seconds. So with that, Marty,
Favor.
Brian,
In favor.
Tom,
In favor.
and I vote in favor. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
So, I'm sorry, what are our next steps?
So, off the record. No. You can talk.
Okay, gotcha. So, there's a 30-day appeal period.
Okay.
After 30 days, you'll get a decision in order, which is a legal document that explains what happened here.
Okay.
And then you can go for a demo permit and then building.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you
So,
very much.
well,
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you.
So this is three variances.
Next up is Nicholas Colangelo and Elisa Colangelo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the application of Nicholas and Elisa Colangelo. That's E-L-I-S-A, correct?
That's correct.
And that's for variances to allow a 10-foot by 20-foot shed where 12-foot by 12-foot is the maximum, and to allow it to be located closer than 10 feet from the rearmost portion of the main dwelling, and finally, to allow impervious coverage of 36.3%, where 35% is the maximum. This property is located at 1310 Wood Street in the C Residential Zoning District, and Mr. Colangelo is here.
Nicholas, Nicholas, Colangelo, C-O-L-A-N.
Okay, Mr. Colangelo, you saw the first hearing. Tell the board what it is you want to do and why you feel you are entitled to the relief that you're requesting.
No, I appreciate you guys hearing us out. My wife couldn't make it tonight. She's actually down the shore, so speaking on both of our behalfs. We're looking to put, it says 10 by 20 shed, which it is, but it's actually a shed slash like pool house. So the actual shed part's going to be 10 by 10, and then there's going to be, I have a diagram, there's going to be an open area for the first 10 by 10 where you put a couch, TV, all that stuff. So the reason why we're asking for the variance is it's the best spot on our property to put this shed slash pool house in a space where it's not being used. So the space that we want to put it in is on the right side facing our house where there is nothing. It's away from our neighbors. I already spoke to all three of my neighbors. I built the house 11 years ago, friends with all our neighbors. Nobody has a problem with it. It's not going to interfere with any of their sight lines. It's not going to look like an eyesore. The way we're setting it up, it's actually custom built to match our house. So it's going to have the same siding, same windows, all that stuff. So it's going to look very nice on the property, and it's going to be out of everyone's way. So that's why I had to ask for the variance. It's slightly closer than the 10 feet. I mean, it's like 7.98. Like it's right there. And it's also, it's 4 feet from our fence, and it's actually 5 feet from our property line, because we do have another foot over our fence from our property line. So we're just asking for that variance from the house. I know with the shed part, we're not utilizing the shed for any, like, I don't own like a mower or anything like gas. We're not putting anything in there. We're just putting floats and tables and chairs and stuff for our pool. And not chemicals. We have a separate area for that. That's all covered up in our deck area. It's just for miscellaneous items to get out of the way when storms and things like that, and put our furniture and all that stuff in that area. That's all we're using it for. And then the other is like more of like an entertainment center. Again, it's the best spot on our property to do it without the least disruption for our neighbors and for everybody else, and it's utilizing the land that's not being used right now. I took a couple of recent pictures after they laid it out for us so you guys can actually see.
Okay, we're gonna mark, do you have copies of these or just these?
I just have that.
Okay, I'm gonna have to mark them and hold on to them. We'll mark these as Exhibit A1 and A2. A1 being the swing set from further away, and A2 being the swing set from closer up. And are the flags where the proposed?
Yes. The white flags are where they would go.
The white flags.
Yeah.
Looks like there's one right next to the swing set here.
Yeah, the swing set's going.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Swing set is being demolished. Okay. Pass them down and let the zoning hearing board look at them.
And then this is another exhibit. This kind of just gives you like the actual breakdown of the structure itself.
Yeah,
Side of the house. gotta be close enough to the pool.
If you look in the back, like it's, you see how like this hill comes down?
Yep.
I couldn't do it, like I wanted to do it up in this
Great,
area,
great.
but like it's just,
I got
it's
it.
just, and then
got
with the runoff, like I just want to be in. We also just to give you, I can submit this for evidence if you need it. So we called the Pennsylvania One Call system and had them come out already, and they inspected the area where we're going to put it, and everything's cleared. Gas lines, phone, electric, like all that stuff.
So you need that at this point.
No. No, we don't need that.
Anything else?
That's all I got.
All right. Board have any questions? Marty?
Well, I think you answered the question. I was wondering why it wasn't closer to the pool, which would make sense, but now I understand why. So that's the only question.
Mr. Taylor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is going to be the only shed on your property, right? You don't really have.
No, I don't have any sheds already. I just have like a little pool thing, but it's not a shed.
Okay,
It's
that'd be
just-
okay. What's the need for a 10 by 20 shed versus 12 by standard 12 by 12?
Because the front of it's going to be like where you put chairs, TV, like relax. I mean, we need another area for the kids to go because it's all one instead of one spot. Like they can go down there. It's kind of like a little thing to get them out. And the shed itself is only 10 by 10.
Oh, okay. And it's good. What's the height going to be?
So the height itself. They have a rendering drawing that I'm utilizing because they didn't send me the final one yet, but it. $12
Yeah, okay, that's a standard. Yeah, thanks. So it's going to be about 7.5 feet. 7.5 feet from the house.
It's like 7.8 to be exact.
7.8. Okay. And are you planning to put any utilities into it at all? Into the shed, like electrical?
So we're gonna have a light.
A light. Okay. So you will be putting in like yeah.
Like a light for the shed, and then in the front part, we're gonna have a fan, built-in recessed lighting, and then electrical out for the TV.
Oh, okay. All right. So it will be electricity, but not running water or anything.
No,
like
no
that.
water.
Okay, no plan for commercial use or anything.
Nope.
That sort of thing. Okay. And they're not going to be storing anything flammable or anything like that that could jeopardize the.
No, sir.
That's okay. Those are all the questions I have. Thank you.
No questions. Dom?
So just to confirm, no plumbing,
No.
and you're going to be 4 foot off the side yard, which is fine. You're not 10 feet behind the house, right?
That's the relief.
That's one of the reliefs. There's 3 reliefs here,
Yeah,
right?
there's 3 rooms.
So is 10 by 20, it's not all shed?
No.
It's like an open,
It's like this. So the front of it's going to be open with a TV and like a little couch area, and then the back part's the shed. This isn't the exact model. It's
Right.
it's like a pool house type of thing, but this is all the shed, and this is the open area in the front.
Yeah, I need to take a look at that because I was going to ask you about the same thing. Let me just see this without marking it. So the shed is half of it, and the other half is open,
it can't be considered a second dwelling. right?
covered. It's all attached. It's one unit.
Yeah,
It's
it's-
10 by 20. It says Lanai Pool House.
Yeah, it's from the it's like the Amish shed companies that build them. It's portable. They bring it out to your house. It's already pre-assembled.
Okay.
And they dump it under your
So front elevation, this door leads to what?
shed.
The shed, the storage shed portion.
Correct.
And on the right side, is that open space? So it's just covered.
Correct.
It doesn't have walls, only on
No.
one side and then a column supporting the overhang,
Yeah.
the roof, but it's open
Correct.
there.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So the lanai section is back near the pool, and the shed section is on the side of the house.
Correct.
More or less, right?
Yeah. So like right here.
Let's mark this.
Yeah, I mean, I got it. I got it here. It's just,
Yeah, so like the open, like you walk, so this is Bilko doors right here, but this is like a patio, right? So you walk down the patio, the swing set's here, that's gone. And then you walk in the open area and the shed's in the back part there.
and this goes on stone, right? You're not pouring a foundation.
No, no foundation, just stone.
So isn't that still pervious?
So he's 1% over pervious.
Even before this, though?
No. Where after this, he's going to be 36.3, where 35 is allowed. So it'll be 1.3% over the...
Right, I saw that.
Right.
So that's... Right up
Okay.
against it.
No more questions.
And I don't have any questions.
I'm going to mark as Exhibit A4 the diagram showing the elevations, because I think that graphically depicts the half-storage shed, half-open area, pool house, as Mr. Colangelo has characterized it. Will you agree, Mr. Colangelo, not to use this for any residential purpose
Yes, I agree.
and no commercial purpose?
Correct, no.
Okay. That's all the questions I have.
Anybody in the audience want to speak in favor or...
Sure, I think the.
Oh, hold on.
Okay.
Just come on up and
Okay,
bring it forward.
this is
And
great. Jessica Clatterbug, CLATTERBUCK. I think you should let this man have his shell of eye.
That's a yes vote.
It's a yes.
All right, thank you. Anybody speak in opposition to this proposal? That being said, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman, to grant a variance from Plymouth Township zoning ordinance number 342 as amended Article 19, Section 1908, capital G, and 1908.1, and Article 7, Section 702, capital F, to allow addition of a 10 by 20 shed where a 12 by 12 is maximum, located closer than 10 feet from the rearmost portion of the main dwelling. In addition, the impervious coverage, to grant the impervious coverage proposed 36.3%, where 35% is the maximum. The property is located at 1310 Wood Street in the C Residential Zoning District. I think we should add that the shed is not to include any utilities other than electrical, there's no plumbing, and have no commercial use or anything similar. All to be in accordance with the testimony and exhibits offered today.
We have a second?
A second.
Second. So roll call. Marty?
In favor?
Mr. Daly?
In favor.
Mr. April?
In favor.
I vote in favor. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
you know what? We can, I don't see from this one. Instead of holding your documents that you may only have one file.
Off the record, I just wait for the,
Yeah, the decision in order to call. And there you're good to go.
thank you. Thank you all. Good night, thank you.
Next up, Mike and Jess Clatterbug.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the application of Mike and Jess, not Tess, Clatterbuck, seeking a variance from Section 1909E of the Plymouth Township zoning ordinance to allow a fence to extend into the front yard of a corner property. This property is located at 116 Scarlett Drive in the B as in boy residential zoning district. And here they are.
Jessica
Okay, you know the drill.
Okay, well, I included a letter, so hopefully you have a chance to glance at that. It pretty much reviews the reasons that we're applying for this one. We had a fence that existed in this space when we purchased the house 6 years ago, but it was a small wooden fence. It was dilapidated and falling apart, so we took it down with the idea that we would put up a new fence, but we focused funds on some inside project instead and waited 2 months so that we missed a grandfather clause for the fence. So this past summer, we put up a fence, one that was permitted, which came off the back of the house, but our house is situated so that the bulk of our yard is in the front and on the side, and we have a very, very tiny backyard. So it basically cut the entire yard, and it made it so that anytime the kids are playing outside, they're playing outside the fence, which kind of, negated the purpose of the fence in the first place. So we're hoping that the township will grant us permission to put the fence back where it originally was for 12 years, just to create a very safe space for children to be able to play outside. I mean, we don't have a beach house, so we're at our house all summer outside, and we use our yard a lot. Our neighbors are all aware and are in agreement, and there are no issues. And I think, I just would like to mention that there are a number of houses in our neighborhood and surrounding us that have this exact same situation, some which are actually in the front yard. So the fence will conform to houses that exist around us as well. It is a black aluminum fence, so it's nice looking, and it doesn't obstruct view in any way. It doesn't go all the way to the sidewalk. It's actually a little bit closer to our house than the original fence that was there. And it will not obstruct view in any way from cars that are driving or anything like that. Or people, because it's see-through, but that's it.
All right, with that said, the board have any questions? Mr. Higgins? No questions. Mr. Daly?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. How far off the sidewalk of Cardinal Drive will the fence be?
So I think, I'm sorry, I didn't bring my own paper, but I think it's on here. I think it's about 20 feet.
Okay.
Let me just see. Okay, so he didn't indicate it, but it is about 20 feet.
Okay. You have the sizable yard. so
Yeah,
I
we
can
have
see-
a large yard, so we don't need to go all the way up, and we have trees, like small trees,
Yeah.
but we'll go in front towards our house in front of those trees. So it's quite a bit off, even though it is on the side.
Right, yeah, we just want to make sure there are no obstructions for anybody.
No,
Come around the turn.
no, there definitely will not be.
Okay. I have 10 further questions, thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Priel?
So was your house in this picture?
So I included the houses in our neighborhood that had a fence that was non-conforming. This picture is actually, it's very hard to see because the trees are so large. But this is a black fence which goes all the way to the sidewalk right on our street. And this is Colwell Lane, and this is Scarlet, our street.
And this is a street here?
Yes, this is Colwell, and the fence goes right up beside it, as you can see. So it's a similar situation, but ours will be much further in towards the house. I only included it so that you could see that it was conforming to the other houses around us, which were non-conforming.
Okay, well, that's fine, but I just don't, is this what you're putting up, this kind of fence?
No, that's our deck. This is a picture of where the fence used to be. It's the only picture that I have from when we moved in, the wooden fence that goes all the way.
That wood picket fence back there?
Yeah, that goes all the way to the sidewalk.
So this is what you're extending, right? It's
Yes.
almost a standard, like, kind of stuff we can approve down, 54-inch
Aluminum
black
that you
aluminum
can
with
see
like
through?
the puppy
Yes.
pickets, I think.
Okay.
It's a thinner version.
Yeah, it's puppy picket.
Yeah.
Our dog's really small, and we found out right before we got installed it that he could get through the standard size,
Okay, never
and we
heard
had
that
to
term
change
before.
it.
That's funny. What was the term? Puppy picket.
Puppy picket.
They put the pickets a little closer together so the small dogs can't squeeze through.
Yeah,
But the good thing is foxes can't sneak in either, so
well,
it
that's
works
good.
both ways.
Yeah, the more of those around.
And you said it's 8 foot off the sidewalks?
It's about 20 feet up off of the sidewalk.
20 feet off the sidewalks?
Yes, it's from the
So it's
curb.
closer to the house?
It's not closer to the house,
I
but
mean,
it is.
closer to the footprint of the house?
It's about 20 off the street, and then whatever the sidewalk would be, probably about 12 feet, I guess.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's definitely more than 8.
Okay. And it's not up to the corner, it's staying to the footprint of the house
Yeah, it will actually be.
on the Scarlet Drive side.
Correct. It will
Okay.
not go up to the front corner.
No more questions. Thank you.
So you already had a fence there for years and you took it down.
Yeah.
Did our zoning fence laws change?
Yeah,
Yeah.
2013.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, no further questions.
I have a few. Is the side street Cardinal Drive or Caldwell?
Ours is Cardinal.
Yours is Cardinal. You're showing another street to illustrate.
The picture of the house on Scarlet is on our street, which is Scarlet, but their corner, their cross street is Colwell. They're like 4 houses down from us.
Okay, but you're on the corner of Scarlet and Cardinal.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, okay.
You see
And,
that, Dave, by the way, if you do Google Map photos.
oh yeah, I'm not doubting it. I just heard 2 different
Sure.
roads mentioned, and I just wanted to make sure they were dealing with the same one. So it's a 54-inch high, black aluminum picket, meaning straight up and down.
Correct.
Okay. Fence. Do we know, okay, off the sidewalk along Cardinal,
Correct.
what's that distance?
So we think it's 20 feet from the curb.
Okay. Along Cardinal.
Correct.
Okay, let me just note that. And how about Scarlet's really not affected? It's behind the house.
Yeah, that's not, it's
Okay.
just the Cardinal side.
Okay. And do we know what the area of the new fencing will be? It looks like it's 42 by 55.
About that, yeah.
That's the new area. Okay, thank you very much. That was all the questions I had, Mr. Chairman.
All right, anybody in attendance tonight want to speak in favor of this proposal?
I'm not saying it just because they set up for me. I actually live in their development.
Come on up, and this is a separate record, so you have to identify yourself, Mr.
Nicholas
Colangelo.
Colangelo. They live around the block from me. They have one of the nicest yards in the entire development, and I know what they're talking about with that fence. I was wondering what you guys were doing because they had that fence was already up. There's other houses in that development. That fence actually goes like up to the street that actually was already set there, so I can validate what they're saying. So their house looks great. It's on the corner. I can see why you'd want to box that in. That's all.
And in favor. Anybody that would speak in opposition to the proposal? That being said, do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion, Mr. Chairman, to grant an application for, to grant a variance from Plymouth Township zoning ordinance number 342 as amended, Article 19, Section 1909, point capital E, to allow a fence extension into the side/front yard for the property located at 116 Scarlet Drive in B residential zoning district, to be done in substantial conformity with the testimony and exhibits offered at this meeting.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, Mr. Higgins.
In favor.
Mr. Bailey.
In favor.
Mr. Aprile.
In favor.
And I'll vote in favor. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have a Dominic Piazza. You want to tell us what your...
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I will do that. Thank you. This is the application of Dominic Piazza. This is a request for a variance from Section 602C2 of the zoning ordinance to allow a side yard setback of 7 feet 6 inches where 15 feet is required. The property is located at 2993 Runnymede Drive in the B as in boy residential zoning district. Looks like we have Mr. Piazza here. Mr. Piazza's been sworn.
Dominic Piazza. Piazza. I do.
Okay, Mr. Piazza, you've seen the hearings before you. Why don't you tell the board what it is you want to do on your property and why it is you're entitled to the relief that you are requesting?
So my wife and I, we've lived in Plymouth Township for almost 10 years now. It's a great place to live and raise a family, and frankly, we never want to move. Unfortunately, when we moved into our house in 2013, one of the things we had to give up was an attached garage. Just wasn't in the cards at the time. The first couple of years, it wasn't too big of a deal, but 2 kids later, it's become a hardship. We primarily want an attached garage to provide covered parking for our 2 vehicles, to make loading and unloading the kids a lot easier, especially in the winter months. Additionally, we want the extra storage space for outdoor and play equipment. As our kids are getting older and playing sports, riding bikes, our storage shed's just not sufficient. Under the current ordinance, we could build a 1-car attached garage without the need for a variance. However, we need the additional parking and the extra storage space in the 2-car garage. This would meet the growing needs of our family now and well into the future. As shown on the site plan, the proposed 2-car garage would result in a 7-foot, 6-inch side yard setback. It would be more than enough space to walk and work alongside the garage. And in fact, throughout our neighborhood, there's a lot of similar attached garages that our neighbors have put up. And given this, I feel that the allowance of variance will not be contrary to the public interest. Thank you.
Okay. With that being said, questions from the board. Mr. Higgins.
Yes, your neighbor to the right, they're okay with this?
Yeah, actually, I spoke to my neighbors on both sides, on Oxford and Runnymede. Well before I applied for the variance, they were good with it. And then, once I had the rendering, I went back and showed the neighbors. They thought it blended in well with the neighborhood, and I kind of marked out where the garage would fall in relation to the property line. Showed them where the 15 feet would be versus where I want to put it, and they agreed that there'd be enough space to walk alongside of the garage and it wouldn't be right on top of the property, so they didn't have any concerns.
Okay, thanks. No question. No other questions.
Mr. Daly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Piazza, is the garage is going to be about 25 feet wide, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And you still have enough room for 7 feet 6 inches
Yep.
from the property
Yep,
line?
that's correct.
Okay. Where I went by the property, which is the property, what marks the property line? Is that chain link fence that runs along?
So I actually did have a survey, and it lined up pretty well with the chain link fence, but it was the fence is actually on our side of the property,
Okay.
so it's and it's actually at a slight angle, which we found
Yeah,
a
right.
little weird, but it's about the fence.
Oh, okay.
But we don't have any plans to remove the fence. So
Okay.
please,
Thank you. Those are all the questions I have.
thank you.
Mr. April.
So I'm interested, you made one comment that surprised me. You said a lot of people have put 2-car attached garages on their houses in that neighborhood?
Yeah, a pretty decent amount. Actually, right across
2-car garages?
2-car, yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Directly across the street from us on Runnymede, they put a pretty massive addition, a 2-car garage, 2-story, and then they extended outward, out back as well. So I think they were.
And they needed a variance for the side yard?
It was in place when we moved in already, but it's a pretty massive addition, and I kind of discussed this with my neighbor. We look at it across the street every day, and don't have any problems with it. So my neighbor didn't have any problems with what we're doing. But on Oxford as well, there's 2 or 3 2-car attached garages.
Really?
Yep,
Attached?
attached, yes.
And they're within the side yard setback, or you just don't know?
I don't know. I mean, I would assume at least some of them would have had to gotten variances, but
Yeah, most of the 2-car garages in that neighborhood are in the backyard.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
mostly 1-car garages are attached. That's why when you said a lot of people, I'm like, I never saw that.
There are some. I mean, now that we're looking at doing it, I noticed them a lot more. But I looked at those garages for design cues.
And did you get any confirmation from your neighbor on the right that they're okay with this? Obviously, they're not here, right? Are you his neighbors?
No, I'm his wife. I just know my name on it.
Okay.
Just a verbal agreement. I encouraged them to. We've been neighbors for 10 years almost.
Okay. I'm just want to confirm it, that's all.
Okay.
Just seems a little weird, but no more questions.
Now, that my only comment or question will be, what is the neighbor's name to the right?
Carmen and Pat, I forgot how to say their last name.
How to spell it? Do I have to go on? I think it's Notarini. Notarini. No. Not sure how to pronounce it.
Okay.
Notarini.
Sometimes people bring a little letter or something saying that they signed off on it, that's all.
Yeah, actually, on the other side of their house, their neighbors, on the other side, they have an attached garage, and it's directly on the property line, so the fence is actually in line with it, so 7 foot 6 inches.
Who owns the fence that we referenced earlier tonight? Who owns that fence? The neighbors or you guys?
We're not sure.
The one that was on you, a little bit on your property and a little crooked?
Yeah, I mean, it was, the neighbors didn't even know, it's pretty old.
So nobody knows who owns the fence?
Yeah, correct. It's kind of a communal fence now.
I'm sorry, that's hilarious. I have no further questions.
Just to confirm, the square footage of the proposed garage looks like it's 773 square feet.
Correct.
Dimension down. And you don't need any relief for the proposed driveway, the widening of the driveway?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay. Your impervious is still good?
Yep.
Okay, anybody in
That's it for me.
attendance want to speak in favor of this proposal? Does anybody want to speak against the proposal? That being said, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman, to grant a variance from Plymouth Township zoning ordinance number 342 as amended, Article 6, Section 602.C.2, to allow a side yard setback of 7 feet 6 inches where 15 feet is required at the property located at 2993 Runnymede Drive in the B residential zoning district, to be completed in substantial conformity with the testimony and exhibits offered this evening.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call, Mr. Higgins.
In favor.
Mr. Daly.
In favor.
Mr. April.
In favor.
I vote in favor. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.